I'm Andrew Rawlings, and in the studio with me is Elida Radig and Marquez Comelab. Hello, Elida.
Good evening, listeners, and good evening, Andrew. Nice to be back.
Good evening, Marquez.
Good evening, Andrew. Thanks for inviting me here.
Thank you for coming. We'll explain in a minute while you're here.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank Peter Wright for World of Jazz. Thank you, Peter. This evening, we are going to be looking at a book that Marquez has written. Marquez is one of quite a few atheist authors in Melbourne, and his book is The Tyranny of God. I'd also like to say hello to our listeners here on the Mornington Peninsula, and you're welcome to ring us on 597 88200 while we're playing our music. But also, I'd like to say hello to any listeners that are picking us up on the internet. Listeners overseas are welcome to call us as well. They'll have to dial their international code, then 613 597 88200. Dial their international code, then 613 597 88200. I'd like to go straight into asking Marquez about his book.
Sure.
What's the name of your book, Marquez?
The title is The Tyranny of God, Liberating Ourselves from Our Own Beliefs.
Wow.
So
that is a title.
That is the subtitle, yes.
Wow. Yes. That is a lot. Just in the title, I can tell you.
I actually would have preferred just to use the subtitle, but it sort of doesn't sound like a religious book, or it sounds more like a psychology book, so I decided to use the first one.
Well, I like it. It's excellent.
Thank you.
And when did you write the book?
I wrote it during April and December of 2008, actually. Yeah. So.
Wow. It took me about that long to read it, let alone write it.
It was quite a bit of work, yeah.
Well, I've noticed you've got endnotes in there. Well, you've got a bibliography, a couple of pages of a bibliography.
That's
and
right.
you also have about 217 endnotes.
That's right.
So there's a lot of work gone into that, a lot of research.
I think when you're arguing with these in this sort of topic, you got to be prepared to bring out your endnotes. So, yeah.
Back up what you say.
That's right.
I think that is beautiful, too, that you dedicated the book to your wife.
That's right.
I think, and her name is Nancy, too, talking about Nancy.
That's right. Hello, Nancy.
I think is beautiful because obviously through the book she did support you and help you and be with you.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean it's her work as much as it is mine. Actually, she read a lot of it and she guided me through and pinpointed the parts where she thought I should reword, or where she thought it wasn't sounding what I wanted to say. So.
Was she happy and pleased when she could see that you dedicated the book to her?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, she must be very proud of that. Also, it's interesting, too, that among the people that you acknowledge, there are few believers.
That's right. And they're crucial in terms of finding the type of information that potential readers would need, because it's the believers that I want to get through to when writing this book. I mean, I was somewhat half a believer and half an agnostic myself, so I wanted to talk to as many people as I can to find out where the differences in opinions lie.
Actually, it's good that they did that, the believers, because usually when we say we are atheists, the believers just say, well, see you tomorrow. You know, it's good that they did share all that information and things with you.
That's correct, yeah. I mean, a lot of them are actually quite open. They were quite open in discussing things, especially a friend of mine, Mario Astorga. If he's listening, he was a great help in terms of nutting this out, because we spent a lot of time debating about almost everything in religion, yeah.
And there are other reasons why you wrote the book?
Well, I wrote the book because I got really interested in finding out about whether or not God exists. I felt that it was very important for me at a personal level. And, I came at a point in my life when I, like many other people, had lots of questions. I don't know about you, Elida, or you, Andrew, but when I came to confront this, it seemed painful and sad to think that there's nothing beyond this life. I mean, what if there is indeed no heaven, no God, and no hell? How does that tie into how I should be living my life? And if God does exist, then how should I live my life? And I was never really compelled to find the answers for these questions until about a year ago. So, yeah, I really wanted to seek and understand what's true.
Amazing, because, did you know, in my mind,
yeah,
I never envisaged another life or after death. I don't know, for some reason, it was always clear in my mind that you live, you die, that's it.
That's right. That's right. And I do find, same with my wife, that there seem to be natural atheists out there where they have no problems with actually dealing with that reality. Just to say that we're here now, and when we die, we disappear. Whereas I don't think I was one of those people initially. So it was quite a struggle for me. And that's why I think this book is important in terms of, because it actually shows how it's a journey of how a person can actually change.
But somebody must put that idea in first place in your mind.
Well,
because nobody put that idea in my mind, so I didn't have it. I think children naturally don't believe, so nobody put that idea in my mind. So
that's right.
So somebody somewhere, implanted that idea in you.
Well, that's right. I mean, I grew up in the Philippines for most of my life, until about 13 years of age.
Well, me too. I grew up in a Catholic country.
Right,
but,
okay.
With atheist parents.
I see. See, to me, I believe that was a big factor in terms of having religious inclinations, was because I lived in an environment like that, and we used to go to Sunday schools and learn the Bible studies, and I learned the parables. I loved them. And I think that's how, in some way, it actually did stick.
Yeah, but you can do all that without believing. We used to also go with children. We used to go because all our friends were, and we have a good time. And but I never believed it. I always saw the whole thing as a, I don't know, something to do, something to, but never to believe.
Well, Elida, I think you gave the key explanation before when you said that your parents were atheist and Marquez's were religious and mine were religious.
That's right.
And they, it's so important for parents who don't have belief to actually make it clear to their children that they don't have a belief, but it's up to the child to decide. But I do know some atheist parents who, in my opinion, haven't made that point and left it up to the child to decide completely. But I think it's important for the parents to say what they believe and then leave it up to the child to decide, to give some direction.